Perfect. Okay. So yeah, so today we're going to be doing a nice slow flow, working on our hips and just kind of relaxing today. I think, long week for some. And yeah, it'll be a nice way to just kind of relax and unwind and, calm our nervous systems down. I'm going to turn on some more lights. There we go. We'll start today on our backs, lying down. You can have your knees maybe bent if you like to support your low back, or legs extended, whatever works best for you. Taking a moment here to notice where your body meets the mat. Noticing where you're holding tension, perhaps in your low back, your shoulders. Maybe you're even clenching your glutes. Closing your eyes if they aren't already. And if you'd like, placing one hand on your belly, the right hand and left hand over your heart. Feeling your hand move up and down as you breathe in into your belly, and then fall as you exhale out the mouth. Taking notice of your breath here, following it. As you inhale, feeling your belly rise, exhale, the belly deflates. Noticing if you're cranking in your neck here. And before we begin our practice, I'd like us to just take notice of how our breath is and how our heart is. So, are you feeling a bit panicky? Are you feeling relaxed? Taking a moment to notice kind of your mood. And through this noticing, this taking our time out for ourselves to notice, we're able to come to a better understanding of our bodies and what makes us feel certain ways, what makes us calm, what makes us stressed. Just noticing how you're feeling now before we begin our practice. And then now starting to roll your ankles, your feet, drawing circles with your toes. Opening up those joints you made here, some cricking and cracking as you move your feet in circles here, one direction then the other. Just moving in a way that feels good for you. Now bending your knees, placing your feet flat on the mat, scooping up your tailbone so your low back is flush with the mat. And then we'll extend our left leg up into the air, flexing that left foot and drawing circles. You can keep your right knee bended with your foot on the mat, or you can extend it long to get a little bit of an extra stretch here. Whatever you feel gives you more stability here. Drawing circles with that left leg. And then once you've done one direction, circling the opposite here. Focusing on flexing that left foot so you can really get a stretch in that calf. So opening up our hamstrings. We're doing a lot of hip opener stuff today. So when we open our hips, it's really important to focus not only on, our actual hip flexors, but also our hamstrings, our thighs, because all these muscles are working together to help the mobility of our hips. And then clasping your hands around your left hamstring and then pulling in slightly, keeping that left foot flexed. Just, slowly pulling in, breathing into your belly as we do this. Noticing if your head is cranked behind you, and then just lengthening out with your neck. slowly, gently, maybe bringing that left thigh closer to your belly. If you want to give a nice bend in that left knee, feel free to do so. Whatever you feel is going to give you a better stretch here. So it's not about, getting your leg as far back as you can, but really about opening that left hamstring. And now bending that left knee, clasping your hands around that kneecap, and then again, drawing circles. This time maybe focusing less on the hamstring, but now I'm actually opening this inside of your left thigh, drawing those circles. And once you've done this way, we'll draw opposite circles in the opposite direction. Finding that equilibrium. And then finding a static position with your knee just clenched up by you. If your right knee is bent, extend it out in front of you so that your right leg is fully extended. We'll take both our arms out to either side in a Texas T, and then slowly lowering your left knee over towards the right, coming into a twist. And if you find that your left shoulder comes off the mat, then it's not to worry. Just finding as much as you can, twist in your low back here. If you need to take your shoulder off the mat to feel your left shoulder more of a twist in your left low back as you do this twist, feel free to do so. Just finding, an optimal position for you, focusing on getting it opening the left side of your low back. Breathing through your belly here, keeping a long spine. If you can, looking over towards the left, or maybe keeping or looking up towards the ceiling. Try not to crank in your neck, your shoulders either. Breathing into your belly. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. One more deep breath, inhaling through the nose, feeling your belly expand. As you exhale it all, coming back onto your back, and we'll switch legs. So you can either extend your left leg up long, or you can keep it bent, but we'll be extending the right leg up into the air like we do with the left. And starting to draw circles again with that right leg. In one direction, and then the other. Just opening that hamstring. Again, maybe you want to lower that left, unbend that left knee, extend that left leg. I find that in some scenarios you feel more stable. If you have the knee bent, other people do that. So it's up to you. And again, trying to keep the knee somewhat straight, but again, keeping a little bit of a bend, because the more we straighten our leg, the more we actually pull on our tendons and ligaments here. We really want to focus on the muscle. So noticing where you feel the stretch and focusing, you want it to be in these big chunky, the calf, the big area in the calf, the big area in the thigh. That's where we're really targeting the stretch here. And then again, opposite direction, really opening up here. You notice you may be using your core to keep yourself steady as you draw these circles. And then clasping your hands around your thigh, the back of your thigh, and then pulling in slightly. So just slowly noticing if you're holding tension here actually in your other leg, if you've been clenching your glutes or your thighs, just starting to let it relax, noticing how your hips are maybe tightly holding you up here. Bringing that right thigh to your belly, and again, bending knee if you need. Breathing into your hips. And then bending that right knee, bringing it in towards the chest and drawing circles. So here we're actually going to extend it. Your left leg is not extended out on the floor, extending it now. And then drawing circles again with this right knee. So you can clasp your hands on the knee or take one or two, whatever you feel making it stable. Finding length in the neck, noticing if you're looking kind of behind you, and then finding that length by tucking the chin down a bit. And then drawing circles in the opposite direction. Staying with your body here, noticing if your mind has wandered. Staying with the sensations, noticing if one hip feels tighter than the other. Starting to gain this body awareness. Then we'll find stillness with that knee. Extend both arms out to either side, and this time, letting your right knee fall over towards the left. And again, if your right shoulder comes off the mat, no worries. We're going to be finding this twist in the right lower back as much as we can. Breathing into the belly. If you can look up at the sky or over towards the right, feel free to do so to get that full spinal twist. But breathing deep here. Relaxing into this. Noticing if you're clenching in your glutes. Just let it all go. Inhaling through the nose again into the belly. Feeling it expand as you exhale out. One last deep inhale through the nose. And exhale to sigh it on. And coming back onto your back here. And bending both your knees. Bringing them into your chest. And rocking side to side. Opening up your back body as you do this. From here, extending both your legs up towards the sky, we're going to point and flex our feet. So it's an interesting, as you flex your feet and then extend them, pointing them up towards the ceiling, noticing how you feel the tops of your feet. Are they feeling, are you feeling you're getting a stretch there? Noticing as our feet are actually something that we spend a lot of time on our feet, especially, maybe not while we're working, but the rest of the day, and there's something that we often don't tend to care to. So focusing on extending and then flexing, pointing those toes. And then coming to stillness with those feet, keeping a little bit of bend in the knee, and then we're going to shake our legs. So shaking them, bringing some blood flow back into our body. Shaking is also very good for our lymphatic system. So as you go, you may want to pat your legs, pat the back of your thighs with your hands. What we're doing here is for all our lymph nodes that run up and down our body, we're helping to just stimulate them, bring some movement into all the tissues in our body. And then dropping our feet down to the mat. We'll roll over onto one side and push ourselves all the way up to seated position. From here, crossing your legs. We're going to inhale to reach our arms up towards the sky. And as we exhale, dropping the left hand kind of down and in front of us. And then we come forward, bringing the right hand up and in front of us. So focusing on getting this stretch on the right side of our low back here and a little bit towards the side. And focusing here, not curling your spine too much like this. We really want to focus on hinging from the hips. Hinging from the hips here. Using our hands to steady us. Breathing into your belly here. Looking down, keeping that long spine. Noticing how your side body feels, your back body. And then walking our hands over towards center. So coming all the way down to center. So we might, if you feel, you can keep your hands like this, or come all the way down onto your forearms if you have the openness. Breathing into your belly. Noticing how that feels. How your hips are, how tight or loose they are. Remember, every day our body is changing. So leaving our expectations at the door about what we might feel today. walking our hands over towards the right. So again, like we did on the opposite side, right hand comes to the outside of that right knee, focusing on hinging from the hips here. And then the left hand comes down in front to support us over towards the right. Still breathing into those hips, noticing as you breathe into your belly as the muscles of your back expand as well. Breathe. Keeping a long spine here, not cranking your shoulders up to your ears. Arms looking down at the floor, but keeping a long neck, not, dropping in or looking up. Trying to keep a neutral neck here as you breathe into your belly. Slowly pushing yourself back up into a seated position here. Start to roll our shoulders. Opening them up. Then extending your arms out in front of you, palms face the opposite wall. Inhaling here, and as you exhale, bring your arms to cactus, pull your chest through and opening the chest. Trying to keep your arms so that they are almost that perpendicular to your torso. So you're not kind of down here or up here, they're really kind of squared. And then bringing the chest through, holding this for a moment, noticing how it can be actually not that easy to hold your arms in this way, opening to the chest. Breathe deep. One deep inhale here. As you exhale, push your hands away again, curling your spine. So your shoulder blades separate, looking down, opening here in your back body, your shoulders. Holding this here, and inhale here. And exhale again to cactus the arms, bring them to either side, pulling the chest through. Keeping a long spine, not cranking your neck, but focusing on keeping that little tuck. And then slowly dropping your arms down to your knees. We're going to clasp both our hands behind our back, place them on the right side of our hip, looking over towards the right, finding an opening in our left side of our neck here. So looking down and over towards the right, noticing how that feels. You may want to even unclasp your hands, and you can use your right hand to give yourself a bit of a massage in that left side of your neck there. Giving your body like breathing deep. Then slowly raising your head back at the center and doing the opposite side, so taking your hands clasped together over onto the left side of your hip, looking over and down towards the left, opening that right side of your neck. Breathing into the belly. Looking down, breathing into your belly. As we relax with our breath, we're actually helping to calm our nervous system down. We hold a lot of tension in our shoulders. Often, if we kind of are breathing through our chest, if we're breathing up high versus into our belly, you can hold a lot of tension, and especially looking at computers, raise that tension more. So, trying to calm ourselves down. As we calm down, our muscles can take the opportunity to relax even further. And now finally looking up, maybe looking side to side, giving yourself a bit of a neck massage, opening up. As we do these little self-care things, we help to notice where our body is holding tension. And then on our own time, we can focus on relieving that tension. So noticing, I'm holding a lot of tension in my shoulders, and perhaps noting that so that in the future we're able to take actions. For example, myself, if I have my computer down too much, I'm looking down versus up at a screen, My neck will tell me right away. So it's those little things that we help to notice through our practice that we can see what habits we take during our day that can influence how we feel on the mat. And then from here, coming forward onto all fours, meeting in a tabletop position. Coming back and forward here, opening the hips a bit. Looking up and down. Rocking back and forth. And then now doing circles with your hips. Or even figure eights, if that feels good for you. In one direction, and then the other. Opening up our hip flexors, finding that range of motion there. And then once we have, come back full circle, walking your hands forward a bit, coming down onto your forearms, and then sitting back with your hips. So opening your shoulders, your chest here as we come into puppy posture. Resting your head on the mat if that feels good for you. Letting it pull open your side body. Just letting the weight of your hips open your chest as you pull. Keeping your forearms static on the mat. And now coming forward, rolling your spine. We're going to come all the way down, keeping our forearms on the mat, all the way down to the mat, laying on our bellies. From here, coming up to our Sphinx posture, keeping those forearms tight by our side. We're going to first, before we rise up, we're going to pull the shoulder blades back. So pulling your shoulder blades together, kind of lifting your chest a bit off the mat, and then actually raising your chest. Inhaling to look forward. Looking down at the floor to keep a long spine. Pulling the shoulder blades together. Holding here. So as we do this, we're giving ourselves a bit of a back bend and actually opening a bit of our hip flexors here. So our hip flexors also include our ab muscles, our psoas, which is right in front of kind of our low belly area, as well as in front of our pelvis. And we're trying to open it here by doing this gentle back bend. So if you can, using your arm muscles instead of your back to hold you open here, trying to actually relax your back as you do this instead of clenching those muscles. Looking down at the floor still, and then slowly lowering all the way down. Taking a moment's rest here. We're going to stay here, just relaxing for a moment. And then on your next inhale, pulling those shoulder blades together again, lifting off the mat, your chest. And again, finding that heart opener in your Sphinx posture. Maybe looking down at the ground to just tucking that chin to keep a long spine. And again, focusing on using your arm muscles to lift you off the mat here instead of your back. Because then we don't want to overexert ourselves in our back. And then as we finally exhale, lowering all the way down, noticing your arm muscles if they've been working. And then from here, extending your right arm out towards the side. And rolling over onto the right side of your body, extending your left toes behind your right leg, opening this right side of your body, this right shoulder. Breathing here. Using your left hand to support you on the mat, just staying there, supporting you, palms flat on the mat. Noticing how your right shoulder feels as you do this posture. Taking one last deep inhale. As you exhale, rolling back onto your belly and extending your left arm out towards the side, rolling on to the left side of your body. Right foot comes behind you. Right arm is supporting you, right hand. Feeling that opening in your left shoulder now. Breathing into the belly. Breathing deep. Noticing if you are more open on one side than the other. It often happens, especially when we have one hand that's dominant and the other one must compensate. So it's very common that one shoulder or one arm feels different. Taking one last deep inhale through the nose into the belly. And exhaling to roll back onto the belly here. Placing either hand on both sides of your chest. We're going to push up, back into a child's pose here. Focusing on a wide-legged child's pose. And as we dip into our child's pose, noticing how this feels in your low back. And then walking your hands over towards the right here. We're getting a back stretch in the back left side of our body here. Breathing into your belly as you do this. So as I mentioned before, we really can use our breath to help calm down our muscles. When we focus on sending breath into our belly, we stimulate a nerve that goes all the way up and down our spine, our vagus nerve, that helps stimulate our rest and digest, our calm nervous system. Give us that relaxation and help our muscles release a bit more. Taking one last inhale through the belly. And then exhale, walking your hands back, centered all the way over towards the left-hand side. Again, now finding that opening on the right side of your body. Noticing how that feels. Focusing on inhaling through the nose and feeling the open through your belly. One last deep inhale through the nose. And then walking yourself back to center. We'll walk our hands forward a bit. We're going to tuck our toes under from here and send ourselves back into our very first downward dog. Today's practice. Pedaling out your feet. Noticing how your calves feel. They feel tight, they feel loose. Just walking out your dog here. Breathing. On your next inhale, looking up, bending your knees. And we're going to crisscross our legs as we walk slowly all the way to the top of our mat. Hanging out here in our forward fold, bending into your knees, noticing how your hamstring feels as you do this. We'll inhale to halfway lift, flat back, and exhale, fold it down. Inhale to root to rise, arms reach up towards the ceiling, and exhale, hands down, heart center. Taking a moment to root in here. Now we'll bend into both knees, step just the left foot back, dropping the left knee, and lean forward into this quad stretch. So our hip flexors, as I mentioned, encompass our legs, our hips, our psoas, our low back. It's everything. So we have to focus not just on our hamstrings and on opening the front of our body, but also our quads and thighs here. So maybe placing your hands on your hips. Maybe you want to take a little bit of a cactus arm, opening your chest again. As you lean forward, you even want to take a little bit of a side bend, placing your right hand on your hip, reaching the left arm up and over towards the right. Find that side body stretch as you also do this bend. Maybe looking up to your right hand, left hand. And then finally, as you exhale, placing that hand down at your hip, flexing the front foot, folding forward, straightening into that front knee. Breathing deeply. In our half splits here, focusing on flexing that right foot. And as we're going to walk our hands forward a bit, bending into that right knee, we're actually going to walk our right foot over towards the left and back a bit, kind of tucking it in. And then we're going to come all the way into our pigeon posture. So coming in, bending into that right knee. Your right knee is about as near your right hand. And your left leg extends behind you. Coming right into this. Breathing deep, extending, pushing your hands against the mat, pulling the shoulder blades together, maybe even finding length, and that's fine. Or you can come forward into your sleeping pigeon, focusing on getting a stretch in that right glute. Breathing deeply. Now pushing your hands back up, you're in your sleeping pigeon. We're going to tuck the left toes under. And we're going to come right back into our downward facing dog. Right back into this downward dog. Pedaling up the feet again. And then looking at bending the knees, and again, crisscrossing your legs all the way to the top of the mat. Inhaling to a halfway lift, flat back. And exhale, folding down. Inhaling to circle the arms up to the sky. And exhale, hands down to heart center. From here, we're going to bend again into the knees, starting this time the right foot back, bending into that knee, dropping it all the way down, leaning forward into this stretch, into that right quad. Maybe placing your hands on your hips, and if you want that extra side bend, reaching the right arm up and over towards the left, finding a side body stretch here as well. Looking up towards your right hand. Breathing deep here. Using your core as well as you do this, trying not to put weight into your low back, so tucking that if you feel you're kind of bending back, kind of straighten up again and focus on that correct alignment there. Reaching up and over towards the left. One last deep inhale through the nose as we exhale, straightening that left leg, flexing the left foot, folding forward into our half splits. Opening the hamstring and calf. Breathe. From here, walking your hands forward a bit, bending into that front knee. And again, we're going to walk our left foot over towards the right, and then kind of walk it back towards our body, and then sink into our pigeon pose. So we're going to take that foot all the way back, and then sink into our pigeon. Hands supporting us, shoulder blades pulled together, trying to keep an equal amount of weight on both sides of our body, so we're not just, completely relying on one side to hold up our weight. And just staying here in our upright position, we're coming all the way down onto our belly, onto our forearm, into our sleeping pigeon. Keeping that lengthened spine, looking down towards the ground. And then using your hands to push yourself back up, and then rolling over onto this left hip, bringing the right leg forward, And then we're going to sink back onto the mat here. Back into legs bent here, feet flat on the mat. And then I'd like to encourage us to take any final resting posture or any final, before we come into our Shavasana, any final pose that you feel is going to be needed for you. So that could be, a glute stretch, so figure 4, you could be coming into a shoulder stand. Perhaps you want to come into another twist. You want to do a happy baby. Or maybe you want to do legs at the wall, finding the wall, and just letting your pelvis relax. Maybe coming into a bridge, lifting your hips off the mat, finding that extra opening in the hips, or maybe you're going to cross your legs on top of one another. Whatever you notice is feeling tight in your body, tending to that area. So if it's your glutes, maybe doing a figure 4. If it's your hamstrings, maybe coming into half baby, tending to those parts of our bodies, taking awareness of what and how we feel. When you feel like you've taken the final postures that you like, I welcome us to come into our Shavasana. So extending our legs out in front of us. Or, if you prefer, keeping your knees bent to support your low back, or coming into a fetal position or a child's pose, whatever is going to allow you to relax fully. When you're ready, slowly waking up your body, maybe rolling your wrists out in circles, your feet too. Keeping your eyes closed. And when you're ready, rolling over onto one side, keeping those eyes closed, and noticing the ground, noticing how it's completely supporting you in your fetal position here. Completely held by the earth. And then when you're ready, using your left hand to push yourself all the way up into a seated position, perhaps crossing your legs. Placing your hands on your knees or maybe a heart center. Taking a final moment here. So let's do one 4 in, 4 out breath. So one final cleansing breath, inhaling for 4 and then exhaling for 4. So taking a final exhale and then inhaling for 1 through your nose, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. As always, at the end of our class, take a moment here to thank yourself for stepping onto the mat, for taking time out for your mind and body, and thank you for allowing me to be your guide today. It's always a pleasure to guide us through this journey of yoga and body awareness. Namaste. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Have a great
You're
weekend.
so welcome. You as well.
Bye.
Thanks,
Enjoy
everyone.
your weekend.
You
Okay.
too.
Bye.